You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we'll be breaking down Vooch buying a new home and what that could mean for his long-term plans with the Chicago Bulls. We'll also be going over the NBA offseason survey done by execs and GMs, and then we'll talk about how this list does or does not reflect the Chicago Bulls. We're going to see all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You have found yourself on Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, and today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Pat. So we did a live stream yesterday. We talked about Nikola Vucevic and his ranking on the top 25 center list. We also talked about what it could look like for an extension for him. Well, there are some signs pointing that extension is going to be coming very soon as Nikola Vucevic buys a new house in Lincoln Park. How do you feel about it?
I mean, we knew this was coming somewhat, right? Like as soon as they said they were trying to get a deal done in training camp, that Vooch was probably going to be here for the long haul. But buying a crib in Lincoln Park pretty much solidifies that, right? Like, You don't buy a crib and then like 2 months later, it's like, trade Vooch, all right, we're going to get it done for you. Like, he's going to be here, and he plans on being a major part of what the Chicago Bulls do. Now, at a minimum, right, could I say that maybe this points to a good deal getting done between them, right? Like good business on both sides getting done between them where Vooch gets what he wants, but he's going to be here long enough that he has to buy a home, that he wants to buy a home. Mm-hmm. Sure, right? Like I'm hoping this doesn't point to the sign of like us signing Vooch to a 5-year extension, and this is the this is where he plans to finish his career out at. But I mean, maybe, hey, listen, if we're winning, I'm all for it. I you know how I feel about Vooch. While I do think he needed to improve in a lot of areas last season, I also believe that it's okay for NBA players to have up and down seasons because that's just human nature sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't always go the same way. So I'm glad that it seems, at least based off of this, that Vooch is going to be back here for the long haul, especially when you're talking about continuity for this team.
Yeah, continuity is one of the biggest things with that. You got to look at the fact that like he does have children. You saw his son a couple of post games last season, honestly. Yeah. I mean, settling, putting down roots. The fact that he was already here for a year and a half and hadn't bought a house because apparently his free agency was coming up. And as being an NBA player, hey, you can be on the go at any time. So like him buying a house, putting down roots, that shows signs that he is going to be here for a long time. And you said, like, even if Vooch did sign a 5-year contract, it all comes down to the money for me. Well, I wouldn't hate it. Sure. I wouldn't hate it because if it's reasonable, if he signs for like 5 years, $60 million, I'm not mad at that at all. Now that is an extremely low contract for Vooch. But I'm just saying, if it is something like that, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Well, and I guess the thing would be, right, like is Vooch one of those players that's okay having his career transition in Chicago, right? Like most players aren't okay with having their career transition in the same spot that they've played a lot of games in. Usually it's like, okay, trade me. And then you go to another team and that other team usually confirms like, nah, dog, you're not that good no more. So we're going to bring you off this bench. Is Vooch somebody that's okay with being on the same team for a while and having his career transition into one day being a bench player, right? Like maybe Vooch, I mean, maybe we don't get to that point. Maybe Vooch is like 35 and all of a sudden he's back putting up 20 points a game and 12 rebounds. And we're just sitting here like, wow, what a great signing. But it doesn't seem that likely. But it seems like, right, the Bulls are trying to have that transition that will be Marco eventually taking on that role as the starting big man and Vooch kind of phasing his way out. I thought that meant probably trading Vooch at one point. It seems like that means maybe he's sticking around and just going to transition into that great bench big that you want to see him become. I don't know. I like the fact that he's going to be here. I like the fact that the Bulls have consistent leadership because I think that's something that they've lacked throughout a lot of this process.
And I think really, if you look at it, if Vooch does have the twilight of his career here with the Chicago Bulls, look at it this way. Yeah, it is a natural pass off that, at least right now, unless the Bulls do draft somebody else, make a trade, something, it seems like at least built into the roster that it is going to be that transition with him and Marco. That seems like what AK at least hopes to happen. We'll see if Marco actually lives up to that, and that can be it. But then if you look at that transition naturally happening, and then you do move Vooch to the bench, Vooch's game is not built off athleticism. While maybe at 35 years old, he's not the 18 and 11 player, but I wouldn't think that Vooch, considering how he can pass the ball, even if his shooting drops down, but what he does have in the post game, he can be a solid big coming off the bench for you for years. So
definitely could, right? And I think that's the funny thing about Vooch. Like, Vooch has probably the slowest moves in the world, but they just work so well. Like, he hit you with that little elbow fake and must be biting on it every time. I'll be like, he's not going that way.
One of these days, he's going to hit an up and under going that way, and we're just going to be like, what just happened?
Right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's the thing about that excites me kind of, and it's what's excited me about AK building this team the entire time, right? The one thing that we both talked about is that the Bulls have are built to be competitive now. But when you're talking about possibly winning a championship, when you're talking about what's actually going to come in, right? I don't think either of us think we're winning championship 7 next season. But
See Red Fred will.
Red Fred definitely believes it. I was thinking the same thing. But when you're talking about the long term, right? You got a lot of young guys on this team. Zach LaVine, 28, 27, something like that. Lonzo's 24. P. Will's 21. Finally, congrats, brother. Have a beer.
He can actually have
or maybe
a drink
don't
now.
Actually. We
He
don't
finally
you know,
have a
beer.
drink.
Beer make you look like this, not like that. So have a beer. Yeah, I mean, but Io's young.
A White Claw. People is probably
have
White
a White
Claw
Claw.
guy.
Have a White Claw. We don't got them as a sponsor, do we? I'll never forget, bro. I'll never forget watching Big Dave's face. Shout out Big Dave, man. We miss you, brother. I'll never forget watching Big Dave's face. When
Pause. You said we miss you like he's not with us anymore.
I don't know if that's a pause, but all right, man. Dave's not dead. It's just he's not on this podcast anymore. He's doing bigger things. But I'll never forget watching him try to do the sponsor for White Claw on Bulls Outsiders and just going like he just, for the podcast listener, he just stared at it for a second, bro. Hey, if somebody can pull that clip up, that was such a moment for me. He you could tell he did not like White Claw, but they was paying him. If somebody can find that clip for me, pull that up. Oh my God, that was so funny to me.
Oh man, but you talk about Vooch like having the in the part of his career here, and you know what my mind went. Now Vooch already has played more time here than this person, but like, what if Vooch is like the Kendall Gill of this generation? Like we trade for him, he stays in Chicago forever, and he just ends up being a part of Chicago media. Like,
bro, he could be, bro. I told me and Haize was talking about it.
You said it like I'm not Haize, I'm right here.
I was like, well, I'm talking to the audience now.
I got you.
I'm saying like, bro, I was sitting there and I was like, bro, Kendall Gill didn't play for us that long. Why is he so revered in our media? I guess you take into right going to Illinois and stuff like that. Like he's always been around
That's
Chicago.
true.
That comes into play with it. But I literally was like, he played for us for like 30 games.
He played 56 games in the Chicago Bulls uniform.
Hey, and he's never left.
Technically he did leave because he did play one season for Milwaukee after us, but he probably still stayed in Chicago.
Crib was still here.
Crib was still here.
So,
and he's just been here forever since then. Like,
hey, Vooch might become the Kendall Gill of the future, bro. You never know, man.
Hey, I will say this, though. I don't know, like, if you look at Vooch when he does actually talk, like in post games and stuff, Vooch actually could be a not somebody who, like, you want to do a ton of color commentary, but I wouldn't mind seeing Vooch in Chicago media at some point.
I wouldn't be mad at seeing Vooch in Chicago media, maybe in the Will Purdue role, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know if I want Vooch on the play-by-play.
No.
I mean,
it's definitely podcast, like media, not commentary. Like that's the difference.
I feel like podcasting for Vooch would be perfect because Vooch would be like the perfect setup guy. By the way, Vooch, you need a podcast to come through. We can add a third. But I feel like Vooch is like the perfect setup dude. Just like, so when was the first time you knew you weren't good? and then just lets them talk. Dead silence. Dead
just
air.
Looks at him and is looking at him the whole time like I'm waiting for the answer. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to the next topic, in which we're gonna talk about this NBA offseason survey. But first, gotta talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They got you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action happening today. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, so Pat, NBA execs were all surveyed, and ESPN has the results of this. There are several questions asked in this. We're going to go through this one by one, give our thoughts on it. And then in the last segment, we'll break down why are there not any Bulls on this list, and should that be a concern? So the first part of the survey was, who is the best player in the NBA right now? Giannis got 11 votes. Steph got 3. LeBron got 1. How do you feel about that?
I can't even be mad at Steph getting 3. I don't get, why are there only 12 though? Or what is that, 11 to 14?
I think they just gave the top ones, and probably everybody else got 1 vote. There's probably a bunch of other players that got 1 vote.
That's true. It's probably.
But they had to make sure Steph's name was on the list, so they made sure that they put him on.
I mean, here's the thing: that's a drastic drop off, and it's hilarious, right? Because this comes off the eve of Gilbert Arenas saying that Giannis is. I don't want to twist his words. I forget how he put it. He said,
it actually looks like the panel was only 15. It was 15 coaches, scouts, and executives. So.
Okay. It comes off the eve of Gilbert Arenas basically saying that Giannis has not improved his game since he got in the NBA. He just got stronger.
That's idiotic, bro.
Hey, bro.
Come on, bro.
Listen.
Gil be having some hot takes, bro. Like, he just be saying shit sometimes.
Here's the thing. Everything that he mentioned, now I will say there's certain things that Giannis is not great at, but everything that he mentioned, Giannis has literally improved. If you can't see that Giannis is I think out of anything, Giannis is a much better facilitator. Much better facilitator than he was in seasons previous. Giannis is a dominant defender, putting up 40. And I think the thing is, right, like, it's the conversation of skill over impact. And I think when you talk about it, right, there are 2 guys that have the most amount of impact in this game right now. And to me, it's Giannis. And last year, Stephen Curry. Steph showed me so much last season, bro, because I always said if Steph played in the 90s, he wouldn't be able to deal with the contact. He said, nah, we're going to put on some muscle and we're going to handle that myth too. By the way, I'm going to win another championship. I had to give him credit.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from Steph. All right, next one up was, who would be the best player in the NBA in 5 years? Giannis won this one again with 7 votes. Luka was second with 6 votes. Jason Tatum with 2.
He's only 26.
Bro, that's crazy. That is, I really forget how young. It's kind of like with Andre Drummond. Giannis has just been around so long that you forget, hey, he's still extremely young, bro. That's crazy.
I probably agree with this.
He's 27.
I don't. 27. My bad.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I don't see Tatum as that. I don't see Tatum.
There was a brief time where I did think that it was possible for Tatum. I don't see it for Tatum anymore. Matter of fact, I would almost flip. I personally like this list. Giannis and Luka number 2. I can't hate on that. I'd almost put Ja number 3. You don't see it for Ja either?
I love Ja. Love Ja. I really want Ja to be that dude. He got to stop falling down first, though. He scares the heck out of me every single time he's on the floor coming from the basket. It's just like, Derek. But Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe I forgot that. Anthony Edwards.
5 years.
Absolutely has that.
Anthony
Absolutely.
Edwards.
Absolutely.
And I think the thing is, right, Tatum's on this list because Tatum's already done it. He's been at that level. But I can't I can't say, even as great of a scorer as Tatum is, that Anthony Edwards doesn't, in my mind, embody a lot of the things that I think will ascend to being one of the best players in the NBA. If
how long do you think Anthony Edwards plays in Minnesota before he's like, I got to get up out of here?
You know what? Here's the thing about Minnesota. When they draft mugs and they actually talented, they usually tend to stick around for a minute.
They do. They usually stick around for a long time.
Like KG and them, like KG stuck around for a long. It was like, bro, like, y'all
way
suck.
longer than what he should. But then he left and immediately won the title. So
yeah,
I mean,
like, bro, y'all suck. Come on now, trade me.
Like bro, I don't know why. Like in it, like he was loyal as heck to that team, but KG, man, like
Cat re-signed there. Wiggins technically re-signed there. They just end up trading them. Like Minnesota weirdly enough, doesn't have an issue keeping people there. They just get rid of the wrong people and don't bring in the right head coach. They just look at it and they be like, yeah, Jimmy Butler ain't the answer. Let me tell you where that mistake came in, my boy.
All right, next up, who will win MVP next season? Now, this is more spread out. So we got 5 votes for Giannis, 4 for Luka, 4 for Joel Embiid, 1 for Steph, and 1 for Ja Morant. Luka?
I think because there's been such a cry for Luka and because he was so disrespected for most of the season last year. Like, he wasn't even in the conversation for most of the season last year. And it was just like, hey, bro, like, anybody see that dude down there that's averaging 30? And like killing everybody on a night in, night out basis? Why are we not talking about him more? And again, right, it comes to every now and then they got to give that they got to show Dallas a little more love because they be like, oh yeah, y'all do play in the NBA, don't you? Like they forget about Dallas. Muggs never realized that Dirk was one of the best power forwards of all time until all of a sudden he was in a playoff run beating everybody.
Yeah, this is true. It's Dirk was amazing, and he didn't get the respect until it was too late. Like his farewell tour, they understood though. When he was going,
that's because somebody went and looked at the numbers and was like, "Hey, anybody notice this dude's like top 10 in a lot of categories?" Like, we got to talk about him, but like, he's really freaking good.
Yeah. Next up, who will be the best rookie in 5 years? So Paolo got 6 votes. Chet got 6 votes. Jaden Ivey got 2. Keegan Murray got 1. Dalen Terry didn't get any votes, by the way. What do you think about this?
I'm going Dalen Terry over 3 of these mugs. I can't say over Paolo though.
Yeah, I think
Paolo's probably gonna be the best one. Paolo's a dog.
If you look at scoring, yes, he's gonna be. I got some concerns with Paolo's defense on the NBA level.
I mean, he ain't MPJ.
Yeah, he's not MPJ. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, right. MPJ got a $200 million deal. But I don't know, man. I think Dalen is gonna get above a couple of these dudes, bro, just because of his work ethic. Now he may not have the ceiling that a couple of these dudes have. You know me too. I don't know how Chet's gonna hold up in the NBA. So.
Yeah, I do have concerns with that too.
They better make that man a shooting guard real quick.
I have a lot of hope and promise for Dalen Terry. That's all I'm gonna say. His work ethic is going to, I think, make him hit a higher ceiling than what people are thinking.
He will be. Here's one that's not on this list. He will be in 5 years Chicago Bulls fans' favorite player. I bet there's a key difference. Their favorite
player. I agree
because he will be the dude that
he's going to be the guard forward. Joakim Noah is what he projects to be, bro.
He's going to be the dude that embodies Chicago. Hard hat, lunch pail, work life. Let's get to work.
And it's so funny too. Do you remember how in Joakim Noah's rookie season he did it was something I don't remember exactly. He had like he tried to motivate people, and people were and somebody was like, "This is coming from a rookie," and then him and Ben Wallace got into it.
Ben Wallace, yeah. It was him and Ben Wallace. Yeah. I never forget that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Joe was gonna fight Ben Wallace, which I don't know. Like rookie Joe, that might not have been
that was skinny. But then he played it off in the interview. He was like, "You think I'm gonna fight the strongest player in the NBA?" And then after Ben Wallace was finally traded, it was like, "No, him and Joe almost came to blows."
Hey, listen, Joe. It wasn't a great decision on your part.
It was a great decision because he didn't actually get the blow. So I mean,
it worked out, right? The bluff worked out, but Ben would have took you apart.
Old man Ben right now would take a lot of young people apart. Like,
they just instantly start playing like the Malice in the Palace on like the TV behind
bro,
Joe.
that is
Like,
hilarious,
Joe, don't
bro.
do it. Don't do it. Remember this dude?
Even elderly Ben Wallace nowadays still looks like he would put hands on somebody. But all right, we got to end this segment. Last one up. Which team will Kevin Durant be on the day after the trade deadline? 13 votes, one to the Brooklyn Nets, one to the Phoenix Suns, one to the Boston Celtics. Anything there?
I think Phoenix.
You think he's going to be on Phoenix before the end of the season?
I don't know what I said on Locked On NBA because I don't remember that far back. But I feel like looking at this now and looking at what the league is heading, or what Brooklyn is heading towards, I could see him being moved still. But unless the owners are like, no, we're not giving you away.
Now, one thing that we'll get into this before we go, though, is which team had the worst offseason? The Chicago Bulls did not receive one vote. Dallas Mavericks got 6, Hornets got 3, Nets got 2, Nuggets got 1, Lakers got 1, Minnesota got 1, Portland got 1. Which is, I think Portland actually had a pretty solid offseason for where they were. But
you got to think about it, though. Portland's offseason technically encompasses during the season where they just were like, we'll get rid of everyone. And then not replacing any of them.
This is true.
I don't think Brooklyn had the worst offseason. Brooklyn actually had a pretty decent offseason. You kept Kevin Durant. You kept Kyrie.
And they added T.J. Warren.
You added T.J. Warren.
And they just signed Markieff Morris.
Don't turn your back.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get into the next segment.
Hey, I'm not even upset by that. You can say whatever you want about me, Markieff Morris. I don't care. You punch somebody in the head and turned your back. Never in my life have I gone, I'm going to hit this dude. Now let me look away.
All right.
What kind of confidence is that?
Oh, my God, man. You are crazy, bro. Moving right along, brother. No Bulls at all represented in this survey. There are a couple of survey questions we didn't get a chance to go over just because of time, but Bulls not represented in any of it. Is that a problem for you at all?
No, because guess what? Analysts, well, executives too, write things down at one point, and then the next year they're like, oh, we were wrong. But it does tell me that there's some guys that need to take a big step, right? Like, I don't know if I believe that Zach LaVine takes the step to a consistent superstar, but that doesn't mean he can't be a number one on your team. That doesn't mean he can't be a great player for your team. I just think that you got to win a heck of a you got to start winning some MVPs and stuff like that to get to superstar level. And for me, that's a lot of dudes that's going to be in front of Zach at all times. But I think Zach can put up really good numbers. And I think that there's just a lot of guys that have to take steps to change people's minds on this list. Patrick Williams is the main one. And it sucks that a lot of this does hinge on Patrick Williams, but he's your number 4 pick in the draft, and even AK is setting this up so that, hey, a lot of this hinges on Patrick Williams. We're not going to not be competitive, but if we're going to talk about best players in the NBA and who has the best shot to do it, the 21-year-old kid that literally has all the length, all the size, all the ability has to be the one to make that move.
I'm going to ask you this. Of Bulls players that are on the roster right now, I'm going to ask you one of the questions from the survey. Who's the best player on the Bulls in 5 years?
I'd probably still say Zach LaVine, because when Zach's healthy,
at that point, a 33-year-old Zach LaVine.
Probably.
Okay.
Because if Zach's healthy, right, we've seen him improve his game in different facets every year. We've seen him add something to his game in different facets every year. Even him having a healthy offseason this year, he's probably going to improve in some way, shape, or form this season. So I'd probably still go Zach LaVine, but it's also because of the unknown of Patrick Williams. I want Patrick to take this step. I want him to be this dominant player that takes over the NBA and is worth the number 4 pick in the draft, but I can't guarantee that he can. What I can guarantee is Zach's going to be a top 10 scorer in the NBA. He's going to be one of the better facilitators in the NBA at a guard position, at a shooting guard position. And hopefully his defense continues to improve.
Who's the second?
Probably Patrick Williams. I think Patrick Williams will improve his game. I don't have in my mind Patrick Williams can get to 18 and 6, right? I don't know if he gets past that.
Who's our starting point guard in the next 5 years?
Ayo Dosunmu.
What's Dalen Terry's role? Is Dalen Terry the starter at the 3 by then?
I don't think Dalen Terry will have a role. I think they're gonna be like, whatever position you need to play, just punch somebody in their mouth. Like I really think Dalen is literally just gonna be where we need Dalen to play tonight.
Okay.
Because he's so versatile.
Is he in the starting line? Is our starting lineup at that point Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, Dalen Terry, Patrick Williams at 1 through 4?
I don't know. I can't throw Dalen in there just off
You haven't seen him yet, yeah.
I haven't seen nothing of him yet. I've seen Summer League Dalen.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I just wanted to see where your mind is with this Bulls team.
I think here's the thing.
Here's the biggest question. Do the Bulls win title number 7 within the next 5 years? That's the question.
No.
Okay, so that at that point will be 7 years of Acme, no title.
Yeah, I mean winning titles is hard.
No, it is absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't think they will, but again, there's a lot of guys that got to prove it to me, and that's the only reason I can't say. I'm going with the logical over my heart. My heart tells me that Patrick Williams is going to turn into a player, that Dalen Terry is going to be the glue guy that I've been asking for, that Ayo Dosunmu is going to absolutely come in and be our starting point guard and be a dominant Drew Holiday type player, and that we'll have Zach LaVine on top of all that, and Marko Simonovic develops into the next Nikola Vucevic. My heart tells me that, and that means we get championship 7.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
Logic is tough to throw. When you throw some logic in there, it's like everybody can't be great.
That's fair.
Can they?
That's fair. That's fair. Let us know down below. Let us know down below what you guys think, man. But that's it. We got to wrap it up today. Go ahead and send us off, Pat.
Hey, man, follow us on everything at or follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls and tell Markieff Morris, keep turning your head, brother.
And you can follow me at CEO Haize, CEOHAIZE. Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check on Locked On NBA, where the Locked On experts break down all the latest news, rumors, and developments in 30 minutes or less. They can be found wherever you get your podcast. Before Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, and we out, y'all.